Your favorite fat boys.
Man, I'm on the track, bitch.
What's up, everybody? Your favorite fat boy, Jerron.
Stefan, a.k.a. Mayhem, a.k.a. Protect Your Neck, a.k.a. The Target Destroyer.
So, welcome back to another episode of your favorite fat boys podcast, and we're gonna talk about today. Gonna kind of jump straight into it because there's a lot going on right now in the world. So recently, there's video that I'm pretty sure everybody in the world has seen of.
Before you start, I wanted to say that the last episode, you said we would do something fun today. This is not fun.
No, it's not. It's because people be fucking up out there. So I feel as though it is our responsibility with this platform we have to at least bring some attention to it. Shed our light and our thoughts to it
and some insight.
Yeah. So it was this week that George Floyd was killed by a police officer. Was knee in his neck for like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, the unscrupulous murder of an innocent, well, we don't know about innocence, but unarmed black man by police authorities.
And while his other colleagues, police officers, 3 other officers just kind of watched.
Well, they participated because they were actively holding him down on the ground.
Right. So one watched and then the others held him down, so.
Said a man who was already on the ground, handcuffed and not resisting.
Saying several times he could not breathe. Asking for his mother. Asking for help. The officers had no regard for his life, and it was all over a supposed forged check.
Well, the information that I got was a counterfeit $20 bill.
Oh, okay.
That he supposedly used to buy lunch.
Okay, so let's break this down as best we can as human beings here. So, you worked retail. Well, I would say you worked the cashier before.
Yeah.
I worked the cashier as well before too. When you receive a fake bill, when you receive a bill, like $20 bill, $20 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill, you're supposed to take a marker of some sort and run across it and see if it turns a certain color. If it turns, like, I think black and turns brown is fake.
Right.
Black is real, brown is fake. And if it's fake, you just let your manager know, hey, we got fake bills here, and then they would probably call security, loss prevention, whatever, and then they would take care of it from there. So I don't know if this happened here, but I feel like some steps were missed because for the police to get involved was, like, to me, escalated too quickly.
Right, because if it was the situation was sometimes you might even receive a fake 20 as change because the person who got it prior didn't check to see if it was fake.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't even know that it was a fake 20. But even if he was using a fake $20 bill to purchase a meal, I don't feel like the police needed to be involved in that situation. But what it was is he used the counterfeit money or whatever he did to purchase the meal. The cops were called. The cops came and responded.
Right.
And we don't know about the preceding incident that caused him to be placed on the ground handcuffed. But what we do know is that he's on the ground handcuffed, not resisted, being held down, and an officer has a knee in his neck for over 9 minutes.
And he's repeatedly telling you, I can't breathe. So at that point, if someone is saying, I cannot breathe, and we talked about this beforehand, if you as an officer, I know you are trained to use force, but when are you supposed to release that force in the situation where they say, hey, I can't breathe, I'm not comfortable, you're hurting me? No, you keep applying more pressure.
I worked in a facility where we needed to do hands-on to take down mentally ill people. Mm-hmm. And the idea was that we did it in such a way that we didn't get hurt and we didn't hurt them. Because you don't want to hurt the person. You just want to stop them from doing something violent. I don't know if George Floyd was doing something violent and he needed to be taken down, but at no point in time when you have a person restrained, do you need to go that excessive route that I'm going to keep you on the ground and I'm going to put my knee in your neck. You never put your knee or your hands on somebody's neck unless you are trying to kill them.
Right, because if you go back to Eric Gardner, the maneuver, I think, like the seatbelt chokehold, they said that's what's the word I'm looking for? Prohibited?
Yeah.
It's prohibited because of the fact that you are cutting off someone's air supply. But that maneuver was used on Eric Gardner.
Because people are under the impression that if you can hear somebody saying, I can't breathe, that they can breathe. You can say a lot with no breath.
Yeah. But I'm still telling you, I'm losing breath.
Right. You said without taking a breath, you can speak tons of sentences. I mean, shit. Look how fast Eminem raps without taking a breath. You can say a lot with no breath. So if somebody's repeatedly telling you that they can't breathe, they probably can't breathe.
For 8.5 minutes, he had his knee in his neck, and he passed away. And there's more and more evidence coming out of him being. He was supposedly. One report said he was drunk. One report said that he was resisting arrest. But there's video showing that he's being detained and he's not resisting arrest. There's video showing that he was being hit. It looks like he's being hit
right
in the back of the police car. Then when he loses consciousness, the ambulances are coming to get him. It's another police unit that picks him up, puts him on a gurney, and puts him in the back of something. And I say something because I don't see that there's a video of him actually getting in an ambulance. So, and then of course this causes outrage because the fact that you just kill an innocent black man on camera.
And like we said the last time, regardless of what he was doing, the crime did not come with a death sentence. Whatever small petty crime he did not come with a death sentence. And this officer of the law, this person of authority, decided upon himself that I'm going to put this man in a situation where he could possibly die because I can.
So that kind of segues into everything else is going, all the other subtopics that have, spread because of this. In the same week, you had, what's his name, Chris Cooper, who was in Central Park, told a white woman, hey, you need to put your dog on a leash. She felt threatened by the black man, called the cops, and said, I have an angry black man here that's threatening my life, and caused a whole lot of hoopla on the phone call.
Well, we know for a fact she didn't feel threatened by him. He recorded the entire thing. She didn't feel threatened. She felt pissed off about the fact that this man was telling her that she needed to do something with her dog. And she didn't appreciate the fact that he took it upon himself to tell her the rules of this area is you must have your dogs on a leash. Mm-hmm. You need to put your dog on a leash. She said, oh, fuck you for talking to me.
Right.
And she's used the power. She premeditated this. She consciously knew that if she called the cops and talked to them as if she was being threatened by a black man, that a situation would arise where he could either lose his life or lose his livelihood. She was using the power of her whiteness.
Yeah. She was using her white privilege to try to stir something up that was not there. And thank goodness he recorded everything from beginning to end, because all he was doing was, I think anybody in any kind of dog park would let you know, like, hey, you need to have your dog on a leash, And
right, not even just for the safety of your dog, but everybody else, because your dog could be dangerous.
Right, and there's no one else. And of course, during this quarantine time, a lot of people are probably not out and about in these dog parks or whatever, the parks, period. But and she probably just took advantage of the situation where nobody said, my dog can walk freely. But he's like, oh, well, your dog need to be on leash, because you never know who's gonna pop up. But then, suppose the police were there and she got a ticket. She wouldn't get a cop no lip, probably not. So,
I mean, maybe she would, because obviously if she gave the cop lip, she wasn't going to die from it.
True.
But she knew for a fact that if she called the police and said that I feel threatened, there's this black man threatening me, she knew, she was cognizant enough to know that it could end very poorly for him. And she wanted to use that against him.
Yeah. So thankfully he recorded it, and I don't know if the police came or not. They didn't come.
No, I don't believe they did.
They didn't come. And he walked away from that, but she ultimately ended up losing her job because of that. And kind of piggyback to the George Floyd situation, that officer has been brought up on third-degree murder charges. So we have a murder charge pending, and
I mean, I don't like the fact that it's third degree, but okay.
Yeah, it should be first degree. But maybe that might change while the new evidence is coming up. And now you have this white woman here, I think her name is Amy something. She lost her job. So it's consequences to your actions here.
As it should be.
As it should be. But losing your job, I don't think it necessarily is enough. Just don't do that shit, period. Don't try to intensify a situation that's not there.
Well, I mean, we live in a country, in a society where we are well aware of black people, especially black men's, one, fear and the repercussions that come with their interactions with police. Mm-hmm. And we know that you can weaponize it because we've seen it before. And this is a woman who was very cognizant of, I can weaponize this. And in the case with the George Floyd situation, the police officer in question had several infractions against him of police brutality, unnecessary force, and he was never disciplined for it. So him putting his knee in this man's neck, just another day for him. Yeah. Because he's never had any repercussions taken out on him for these actions before. And we've created a society where we are not okay with it, but we just say, yeah, you know what, this is just kind of every day.
Right. We used to police fucking with us, being racist, experiencing racism from the police. And, it almost comes with the territory of being black. Right. So it's something like you said, we don't like it, but we're used to it. And this is all happening within a couple of days. It's happened within this week.
Yeah.
Then within
the week.
Then last week you had Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor being killed. And it's just like, and I think black Americans
not them being killed, but just, the things coming out about it.
Exactly. And black Americans had enough. It's been reached a boiling point, and there have been protests going on, which have turned into rioting as well. Right. So
rioting and looting, which tends to happen when you're sitting on a powder keg.
Right. So a couple of things that come out from rioting I want to touch on was, we depicted, and what's recently been depicted with the rioting is that when we do it, we're doing peaceful protests, but somehow another, you said it's a powder keg, so something kind of tips that boiling point.
Yeah, all it takes is one spark,
and something happens, and so we've seen video of bad actors dressed in all black, and they are painting Black Lives Matter on buildings. They're breaking windows. It's very meditated. They're supposedly, they're laying bricks out in open areas for you to use. They kind of get you to kind of spark something off. But when white armed men were at the Capitol building demanding that you reopen America so I can get my hair cut and I can eat out at my Panera Bread in the dining and outside dining with guns, police are not doing anything. They're not pushing you, not doing tear gas. They're not,
I think part of that is the optics that go with that is the fact that when they were doing the whole Liberate America campaign, the president was behind it. Mm-hmm. The highest office in our nation was behind these armed protesters. But as soon as black people start doing it, the president spouts out a line from a well-known racist that once the looting starts, the shooting starts. If nobody recognizes the optics behind that, the racism behind that, then they are being blind to the entirety of what's going on.
And when he said that, that's definitely rubbed me the wrong way. And everybody else, because it's like, you're not for us, you're not supporting us, and it's you giving whoever with a gun the okay to say, you know what, they looting, nah, let me start the shooting.
But again, this is something we've known about the current administration. What we were talking about before, why the only reason that I appreciate the current administration is because they are so overtly evil. See, you don't really get that overtly evil nature when it comes to the government officials. They're always hiding and secretive, but right now, so for the past 4 years, the past 8 years, they have been overtly evil, and it's refreshing. It's terrible as it is. It's
right. We had that conversation, and when you put it that way, I thought about it. I was like, it's a really good point, because the fact that a lot of times you might get politician that let straight up lie to your face, and a lot of times they are lying to our face about certain things, or they just kind of cover it up. But with Trump, we knew what he was beforehand, and he has not changed. If anything, he's more so embraced who he is.
Right.
And he's someone who definitely should not have a Twitter account, access to any kind of social media, because he's spreading that divide. Anytime you call neo-Nazis, good people, and you let Black Lives Matter group be labeled as terrorists, there's a problem.
Oh yeah.
And to carry that narrative as if all the people in the Black Lives Matter group are terrorists or they're the ones who started trouble. No, they're not. But he lets them carry on. He lets the people who dictate that narrative carry on like a Tommy Lauren.
I mean, of course, because one, that's who he is, and two, that's his base. I mean, America was the way that it's been, and it's been this way for a while. Coronavirus only exposed the cracks deeper. So the quarantine, the pandemic, the lockdowns, they only exposed the cracks, and we were always sitting on a powder keg, but then these things just kind of pushed over the edge. So the one thing that I will say about the riots is the same thing I said about the protests. I will never condone it, but I understand it. People get frustrated. People want to lash out at a system that's been keeping them down for so long. Mm-hmm. So I understand it. I would never condone it because I always have an issue with busting up other people's shit because that's just me. But I do understand why these things happen.
Right. I feel that way you do. Like, I don't condone it. I'm not saying, hey, go out there and, bust this shit up. But I get it. You're frustrated as hell. You're not seeing any real change. You tired of the same shit. It's you want to lash out. And one thing I want to touch on real quick before we move to the next subtopic with rioting is that someone pointed out, and you experienced this, is that it's not rioting when you celebrate your sports team winning or losing.
I called it a riot because I was at College Park and we beat Duke in a basketball game and they started rioting. I didn't fucking understand it. It made absolutely no sense to me. Everybody's so excited and like, okay, we beat Duke in a basketball game. What does that mean for us? Nothing. And then the riots broke out. They flipping over cars and destroying property because they won a basketball game.
And I think in 2001, University of Maryland won the Final Four tournament, and I'm pretty sure University of Maryland celebrated in a very rioting way.
Oh yeah, they rioted. That's why at that point in time when I was up there and the riot broke out, the police were armed to the teeth. So yeah, they tear gassed the entire street and they were in full riot gear. It looked like a scene out of a movie based in the apocalypse.
And the point we're making is that you can see this. And when it's college kids, you're not gonna call them terrorists. You're not gonna say that they're looting and stealing.
Right, they're thugs.
Right, you're not gonna pit them as that. But when black people,
when the riots and the protests are predominantly black, you frame it as if we're all fucking criminals.
Exactly, and it's not fair. It's not right. And that, to me, that narrative has to stop. You have to stop depicting us as thugs and as terrorists when we're trying to peacefully protest. We have peacefully protested. Right,
and a group of people who legitimately have a complaint about the state of the world. And that's part of the problem too, even with the rioting, is the fact that we know that it's a powder keg. We know riots get people to look at us, get people to at least pretend like they're listening. But we also know for a fact that it doesn't work to facilitate change. So we need to figure out a method at which we can facilitate change, because we know we've done this before. We've done rioting before over police brutality. We've done protesting over police brutality. And we know that after a while, it's going to go to the back of everybody's mind, and then this is going to be Tuesday again.
Right.
And nobody's going to give a fuck. So we need to figure out a new way to facilitate that change.
And so with you saying that, to anybody that's non-black, to anybody who does not know what the solution is, if you don't have a solution, don't say shit. just keep your 2 cents to yourself if you got 2 cents that you want to speak on. But I'm tired of seeing these comments where it's like, oh, loony's not the answer. You should peacefully protest. We did. Martin Luther King peacefully protested. They still killed him. Colin Kaepernick peacefully protested. They blackballed him. So what's the solution then? If we peacefully protest to begin with, should we fuck shit up first and then hope that y'all listen and change?
Everybody says that there has to be another way, but nobody knows what that other way is.
Exactly. And some of you white people are, just showing your ignorance and just be like, oh, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, but you're not offering a solution. Not saying that I want a white person to offer a solution, but if you're going to come into the conversation, bring something of substance, because you're not bringing anything by just saying don't loot. Looting is not on the agenda. It happens.
Right. Riots and looting happen, but nobody started a protest over the death of an innocent black man and said, you know what? All right, at 5:30, let's start the looting.
Matter of fact, let's not go down this street. I want to swing by the Target and get a couple of things. That's also been burning me up, getting under my skin. Just the fact that people aren't bringing a solution to or thinking outside the box. So the dialogue is good to express your point of view and everything like that. But to think that that's what the agenda is, that's not it.
Yeah, as I read something somewhere, somebody's like, why don't they uphold law and order? I said, but we're protesting the people who are supposed to uphold law and order. So it's kind of hard to say I'm going to be a part of the system and I'm going to follow the system's rules when the rules negatively affect me and adversely affect me.
Right.
It's hard to follow rules that are made to keep you down.
And the justice system we've seen it time and time again, where we don't even get a conviction sometimes with these officers. And then when we do, they might walk scot-free. Like with George Zimmerman, because of the stand your ground law, he pretty much got off.
Right.
Where he clearly followed this young man and killed him. And because of the fact that the defense was, he felt threatened for some reason, he wasn't minding his business. That child lost his life.
It's one thing that I said the last video, and I'll say it again, that even though it's a big hit to privacy, the fact that everyone has a camera now, it's hard to do shit in a nefarious manner and get away with it, especially out in public, because everybody has a camera. Because think about the fact that with the George Floyd case, if we didn't have video, it would have just been people screaming about another cop killing another innocent black man, and we wouldn't be able to see it to understand how blatant it was.
Right.
And the situation with Chris Cooper in Central Park, the fact that he was able to record this woman trying to use the police to ruin his life. The fact that everyone has a camera means that maybe you should probably think about what you're doing before you do some nefarious shit.
And hopefully they do, but in some cases they don't care, because you can tell looking at the video with George Floyd, he got my man, homeboy got his hands in his pockets with his knee.
Oh yeah, that officer did not give a fuck.
Right, and he just like you said, he carrying on like this is Tuesday.
Yeah, for him it was definitely just a Tuesday.
And his partner, I don't know his partner or not, but his colleague there, just kind of just like, okay, well, maybe he won't die. Maybe this person won't die. Maybe they'll just constantly be all right. He did nothing either. So it's just very disheartening to see this, but at least we have this as a weapon to catch this shit on film, because like you just said, if it had not been caught, it'd been 2 more black men that could have had their lives ruined. Right.
And I said this the last time and I say it all the time. We understand that not all police officers are bad. But when you have 1,000 police officers and 100 of them are bad, if the 900 don't do anything about the 100 that are bad, then you have 1,000 bad police officers.
So hopefully the officers, the good ones, will speak up when some wrongdoing is being done within their own police department. That's one way you're gonna really get some kind of change within the department, because you got to let go of these officers got to let go. They cannot be holding these positions, and you scared of black people. You're not going to protect black people, and you don't care about black people.
And also, we need to really take a look at how law enforcement is run as an organization and how it interacts with the community. From a top-down perspective, these things need to be looked at and they need to be changed, because the current situation is just not working. And it's definitely not working for everyone.
It's not. And it's a long time coming for them to overhaul the justice system. They've been talking about prison reform for so long. They've been talking about, the justice system for so long, and even reparations. And I say that because these are all kind of hot button topics that they talk about when it's time for election time. They kind of get people kind of perk the ears up to see what was going on, but then nothing gets done. You want the black vote, but you're not doing anything to support and help black people.
Right.
And another thing I want to touch on, with rioting as well. One thing I saw, they had child soldiers out there in the field. Is that a real thing or not? Or
child soldiers are a real thing, but I don't know what you're referring to as far as the riots go.
So they showed a couple of images. So they showed these random images of them placing bricks in certain spots. The bad actors and all.
Oh yeah.
But then they showed they had, I forgot what city it was. They had child soldiers ready to kind of go out there in the streets and defend these buildings and stuff like that.
Oh, if the building that you feel like potentially be attacked is family owned or something along those lines, I'm almost certain that you would have your kids be ready to ride or die to protect your property and to protect your livelihood. And so I understand both sides of that.
They were dressed in army gear.
Sure, why not?
Okay. There's so much stuff coming out that a lot of these images I don't know what's real. Some days I don't know what's real. It was kind of just placed there because of what's going on.
Right, and that's a part of the problem with the internet, because in modern technology, it's so easy to fake things that you have to be diligent in vetting your sources and your information, because things can be so easily faked nowadays.
Right. And another thing, you got a lot of companies coming out showing support. Nike came out with a very nice statement of, don't do it, don't be racist, pretty much.
Well, for this particular situation, it's just so easy. Yes. There is a clear villain here, and there is a clear wrongdoing that any company can come out and say, no, that's wrong. What company is going to say, you know what, I back my police officers for doing their job in this situation? This is, for any company, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer, a winning situation to get behind.
Right, and you see more companies following suit. It's been Nike, Netflix. I saw a commercial there with Paramount. They did it. Amazon, I think, there's done one. So you're going to see more and more companies. Even the NFL did it, which I'm about to read right now, which I found interesting from them. The NFL family is greatly saddened by the tragic events across our country. The protesters' reactions to these incidents reflect the pain, anger, and frustration that so many of us feel. Our deepest condolences go out to the family of Mr. George Floyd and to those who have lost loved ones, including the families of Miss Breonna Taylor in Louisville and Mr. Ahmaud Arbery, the cousin of Tracy Walker of the Detroit Lions. As current events dramatically underscore, there remains much more to do as a country and as a league. These tragedies inform the NFL's commitment to our ongoing efforts. There remains an urgent need to action. We recognize the power of our platform and communities, and as a part of the fabric of American society. We embrace that responsibility and are committed to continue the important work to address these systematic issues together with our players, clubs, and partners. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. That's very interesting that he came out with this statement, but when let's see here, a certain Colin Kaepernick was peacefully protesting, these things, he was frowned upon.
Hey!
And that was a cool thing to do.
They brought Jay-Z in.
He ain't done shit.
Isn't that what Jay-Z came to the league for the entertainment and the social outreach? He might have thrown some kind of benefit concert. I won't say he threw it,
But I think whatever he has going on, they might throw in a concert. Together for some reason, and I don't think they haven't done anything else since then. I don't know what his job title really is with that, but I don't see him doing. He hasn't done, and I'm not trying to say he hasn't done shit, but I haven't seen nothing come out of this recently.
As I've said before, I mean, whether the statement from NFL is genuine or not, if you are willing to change your stance based off of new, more relevant, more credible information, then by all means, change your stance. I'm not going to admonish you for that. So if he was looking at this situation as like, God damn it, this is what Colin Kaepernick was talking about. I should probably get behind this. More power to him. I'm not going to admonish you.
So it's okay for him to have a change of heart then?
Yes, it is absolutely okay for you to have a change of heart. And I'm not going to admonish you for that.
Understandable.
Because when you do that, when you admonish somebody for, okay, this is the way you used to think, but, now you want to change your mind, they probably just going to go back to thinking the way they used to. And if the way they used to think was, fuck all black people, let the police kill them, we don't want them to do that.
Right. I mean, hopefully that is in the direction he's going in, and if NFL players were to say protest by kneeling, it wouldn't be so frowned upon, because now we're showing you that this is a real thing. It's always been a real thing, and it should disturb you. If it disturbs us, it should disturb you. And granted, not everybody's gonna care about somebody losing their life from a police officer, but the frequency this is happening, it should disturb you.
Right. Like I said, we've always been sitting on a powder keg, and the coronavirus just really exposed all the cracks.
I'm telling you, like, the coronavirus it's like a fucked up layer cake. Coronavirus, racism, police brutality, and then you got we about to end the hurricane season.
Yeah.
So you about to have a natural disaster gonna hit somewhere. It's gonna fuck some shit up, because I think, because like, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago, when the hurricanes hit and like Puerto Rico got really fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really recovered that well from it.
Nope.
So, and they get hit. It's supposed to get hit again by another bad storm, or like Florida.
So while all of this stuff, global warming is still a thing. They said climate change is still a thing, still affecting nature. So nature's gonna hit back hard.
Yeah. So that's one thing you probably can't. You can't prepare but so much for nature, because you know how these storms are going to be when they come through.
Right. And so that, coupled with the fact that racism was already here, it was already prevalent. Said coronavirus just came in and took the headlines for a little bit.
Yeah.
But racism said, nah, we want that back.
So, and then another, that kind of go on a lighter note, they've been showing images of like what the next event going to be, as far as like something's going to fuck up America.
Mm-hmm.
So you got murder hornets coming.
They're not as big of a deal as people make them out to be.
You see how big that motherfucker is?
Yeah, they're pretty big, but it's not. It won't be as big of a deal as people make it out to be.
You say that now.
Yeah, and they definitely won't make it to the East Coast.
No, well, we good then. What about the sniper monkeys?
Sniper monkeys?
Yes.
Okay, that's new to me.
Yeah, they got a picture saying sniper monkeys are coming.
Oh yeah, that's new to me.
So you gotta be on the watch. You gotta watch to protect your neck.
I mean, as far as apocalypse bingo goes, most of mine are checked.
Oh boy, it's been the last few days have been a lot. As far, I would say, emotional. Just watching the images of the rioting and these comments people have been making. So my advice, my little 2 cents, would be to anybody who is engaged in what's going on in the world right now to take a break as you need it for your own mental health. I'm not saying I'm going crazy about it, but it definitely weighs on my heart to see, the images over and over again.
Right.
And then also to see, how people are treated by the police when they're protesting, people being shoved and hit, being shot with bullets, run over with cars. It's a lot. So I would, I'm only other thing I can say is like, take a break from what you're reading or what you're watching.
Yeah, so mental health is important. Sometimes you got to unplug.
Yeah.
Because watching a series of depressing issues consistently can give you depression.
Right, because I would go on my phone and look through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I've seen the same repeat images over and over again. I'm like, okay, I need to take a break from this. I can't keep doing it because it's weighing on me. So, people, please, try to find an outlet. This is something that me and Stefan do. To just kind of vent about what's going on in the world. Give me something to do. Because of my situation. So, but also you also going out there protesting. Be careful. Use your best judgment. Voice your opinion, voice your concerns, but be safe out there as well too.
And if you're gonna loot, bring a shopping cart. Got to make sure you get all the shit in one trip.
They showed one guy had 4 Target carts worth of stuff.
I saw that,
and I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him none whatsoever.
So you don't want to be going back. That's how you get shot. Anything else?
What you want to add to it?
I think I've said my piece.
Okay. So, well, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting and liking the Instagram videos I put up and on Facebook. Appreciate, you stopping by, listening to me and Stefan. And we will continue to do our best to share our insight with what's going on with the world as it so sees fit.
And as always, you can check us up on YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Music Play, Spotify, and iTunes. That's the show. Peace out.
Peace.